It's very difficult to conduct a session on supply chain after lunch, and that too the second panel on this. And we have been talking about the supply chain where I don't think uncertainty has a limit in our professions. And we have been talking about pro-COVID, post-COVID and all, and what all supply chain has evolved in the last 4 and 5 years. I could understand in last 4 or 5 years, there is only one definition to our supply chain is that null hypothesis also does not get rejected at 5% of confidence level in our profession. Let me welcome very esteemed panel members to discuss the most awaited points for the digital excellence and digitalization in our professions. We have Shailendra, who is SVP Tenon Group, Supply Chain and Procurement. I would like to just give a small intro, Shailendra.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I am Shailendra. I am having around 2 decades of in the same field of the supply chain management, currently working as a part of Tenon Group. However, I previously worked for Walmart in Canada, Walmart India, and some other organization like Siemens, Amway, and GLL, Jones Lang LaSalle. So it's a vast experience in the supply chain and faced tons of issues in the overall end-to-end supply chain management. I'll share some of my experience in the coming part, right?
Then we have Sumit, who is the Chief Procurement Officer for SkH Group.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sumit Jhamb. I work with industry like iShare, SkH, CNH, Varroc, and now in SkH. I worked in almost all the fields of a supply chain industry. Supply chain, you say, start to end. I worked in production also. I worked in quality. I worked in development, supply chain, corporate purchase strategy. So versatile experience in the automobile industry.
Then we have Dharmender, who is the Corporate Vice President of Procurement and Facilities at Max Life.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dharmender Verma. I've been working for 31 years after doing my graduation from engineering from BITS Pilani and MDI Gurgaon MBA. I've worked in IT, ITES, primarily telecom, and I've been part of Bharti Group as well. 14 years in HCL, 12 years in Eltron now, recent technologies it was earlier. So primarily IT, ITES, and procurement as well as facilities. I mean corporate real estate services over here in Max Life Insurance. So the entire sourcing experience has been around the services industry. I mean, and that's a differentiation between the sessions that we have had so far, wherein we've been talking about manufacturing led, centered around supply chain, but I would be talking about my experience around services related challenges and the application of the digitalization, etc.
Okay,
thank you.
Small intro about myself. I am Mantosh. I am heading the SkH Group supply chain. Previously, I was heading the eCart logistics, and before that, I was heading the Flipkart operations for East and North region marketplaces. Before that, I was Deputy Director Supply Chain in Indian Navy. I have served Indian Navy for 22 years, and later on took the voluntary retirement into the corporate life. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, if we talk about the digitalization in the supply chain, what I could see in my 15 years in supply chain, and before that I was a core engineer, that if you are able to measure it, you are able to manage it. And how can you measure it? If you have a digital platform, and what is the biggest challenge in the digital platform? We have so many platforms, they don't talk to each other and all. And that is why we all are here. We know that there are different segments. There are no integrated logistic management system where we could find a single journey for entire product life. And if we see last 4 or 5 years of experience in the digitalization of supply chain, first phase of COVID where I was operating into the e-commerce sector, the biggest challenge in the first phase was stock of 5 million shipments in a state in return journey and distinguish those shipments between the essential and non-essential. The next day, I got another challenge that non-essential and essential has to be developed into the quarantine zone. There are small cluster where you cannot deliver your products. So what happened in the first segment or first phase, we were operating into the reactive supply chain. The next phase, when we enter into the COVID, we were having such kind of digital platform where we were proactive. We were knowing that what is going to happen, how the networks will be changed, how the customer experience is to be managed at certainly large scale, because that time, if I remember, around 40 lakh shipments we were delivering on daily basis. So that is why we have a very rich experience panel members. It is not that automations, AI and IoT and digitalization which is helping alone in this. There are a lot of professionals like you who is getting involved into the decision making. Because data platform can give you the visibility, ultimately analysis and decision is to be taken by you guys only. So that is why the team members are here to discuss about what is the expertise into their domain. And first, Shailendra, because you have been very diverse background, you have operated into the Walmart in Canada, in India also. How do you understand what is the, because we all are talking about the digitalization, there are different channels talking to each other, there are a lot of data floating here and there. But what is the important is that how that data is secure, how that digitization can go together with the data security as well as. Please share your experience.
If you see my experience, so we have handled in Walmart more than 3 lakh SKUs for different item categories and different segments. So the major part, the challenge we were facing is the master data management. There are lots of information flowing across different suppliers to our different verticals within the organization. Even in the supply chain itself, like warehousing, transportation, and while having, the demand planning, logistics management, purchase orders, and finance management as well. So we have taken certain steps where we can ensure the data accuracy. So what we planned a very clear cut a format where we defined each and every parameter of an item, like item barcode, item unit of measurement, clear description, master pack quantity. So all those parameters we defined very clearly, and there is a fixed format across all the category and suppliers. We shared that format to all the supplier. Okay guys, please fill the information in this format only. There is nothing email or any way the information we can take. So this format needs to filled by them, and then we need to check that and then create an item in our system. So the data accuracy is there within our system, So because we have seen certain, lots of challenges while receiving the goods in the warehouse, right? While moving the goods from the transportation and while doing the, demand planning, right? Because the accuracy was not there while we are, just creating a purchase order and the item is having wrong barcoding. So the different item goes to the supplier for supply in the purchase order. So that itself is a huge problem in the across organization. While our warehousing guy receiving it, so wrong item received, and total the messed up for that particular category, because the actual valuation is for say 5 crores, it comes out either 5.5 crore or 6 crores. So that data accuracy we put lots of efforts, and it really helps a lot across all organization and different departments. So I would, it's a very small thing, master data. Everyone feels यार क्या small छोटी सी चीज़ है, बड़े issues हैं supply chain के, ये क्या master data लेके बैठ गए हैं. तो बस master data is a very big thing where if the data accuracy is there, it really helps a lot in the within the all the organization across all the department and any industry. So that is what I learned from my different experience, right?
Sumit, like we have been talking about the cost saving through the digital excellence and all. And the biggest challenge is how to basically get the best idea and how to get the best cost saving project basically identified and then approved also by the management. Can you share your experience?
Through digitization.
Yeah.
Okay, let me share my experience actually. Okay, last 10 years journey, if you see e-commerce industry grown like anything. Where end customer is there, we have seen lot of digitization. But trust me, everybody must be going through that phase, entrepreneur or top management considers supply chain digitization, not required actually. MIS hai, band to jayegi. See, that kind of approach is there still into the industry, right? So, for a supply chain leader or business leader, it is very, very important to identify right kind of solution for his supply chain. But before that, assessing real situation where you are. It is very, very important. Every organization is different, every process is different. Whatever works for me, maybe it will not work for you. So we need to identify first step is to identify your present situation. Now, if you see, there are a lot of softwares available across the industry. You have seen the presentation of EY. There are few gentlemen I met today, and a lot of softwares are available into the market. But that will really help? Maybe no. But yes, everybody is giving a right solution, but a business leader need to spend their time with each and every software company to make it suitable for you. Only then any software will give the benefit. For example, okay, we'll take the example of EY. We have gone through the presentation, nice presentation, Genie software. This will give the output, but output will come from where? From the ERP or whatever the data you will give or whatever the data ERP will give. Is there any garbage in? Garbage out. So first you need to correct the base. So when you will correct the base, any software you need to do the programming and result will come. So visibility, if you talk about, everybody talks about visibility. So the data when presented in right format, it gives you decision points, right? And for a business leader, he need to apply the brain to all the decision points. So as a business leader, our responsibility is to take decisions, not to do analysis. Analysis part, if some software will do, will take decisions. So that's how we can find out various cost-saving initiatives within our supply chain. So that's what I think. So, yeah.
Okay, just I would like to add something because I've seen the phases when in our e-commerce industry, we are changing and evolving around the automations part. And do you know the biggest question was what? At what scale we are supposed to get automated? At what level the automation is to be incorporated in our systems? And it was a big challenge in front of the management and the board, how much is to infuse or invest in the automations part. But there was not a single solve which can solve the entire problem statement. There was a different geographical locations, there were different facilitation center, there was a different sorting centers in entire ecosystems, and they were differently identified at what level of the automations are required so that you get a cost saving. It is not like that digital excellence and digitalization will give you 100% cost saving at certain scale also. That scale is to be also identified when we are going for any digitalization in supply chain. That is one of the important factor what I have learned in that industry, because a very quick adaptive and very reactive industry where huge investments are required. Like I was seeing into the robotics sortations. And we have a cross-belt sortations which is being utilized in the Europe and US. And you know that every facility center is supposed to sorting the entire orders for at least 18 to 20,000 pin codes in India. So what kind of sortations, automations are required, because manual operations takes a lot of productivity loss and all. And then there is a customer experience also because of manual errors and all. So those kind of discussions, what was the finding and the find through that line which comes after 2.5 years of automation into the industry was that at every problem is not suitable for every solve, and every solve is not suitable for every problem. There is a certain scale where you need to adopt automation, where at certain scale you are supposed to operate in manual operations only. Okay, I was just sharing my experience. Next, Dharmender ji, we have been talking about AI, I just talked about robotics in the sortations and all, but very few experiences in the sourcing, utilization of AI in sourcing.
Okay, I mean, as I said, my response would be specific to services industry there. And now, let's understand first of all the journey, that gets involved in reaching up to the AI. First is the digitization, next is the digitalization, and then the AI piece of it. No, we cannot jump to AI directly, first of all. Artificial intelligence is like replicating what human intelligence does to an extent, except minus the EQ. I mean, the artificial intelligence does not have the EQ aspect. It doesn't have sentiments. It works on the basis of certain data points available across the systems over there. So digitization is nothing but converting your analog into digital forms. So scanning a document is converting your document into a digital form in a 1-0 simple format, binary format. That's a first step, digitization. Because unless you have the digitization, and as Shailendra said, with the right data into the digitization, because you do digitization, you do tagging of that digitized record or the information, and then you have certain master data around it, that what is it that you have got. Next step is digitalization. Digitalization is when you start creating collaborative workflows and automating the processes to use the digitized data to carry the business process ahead. That is digitalization, okay? Next, and the digitalization then gives you the benefit of having the common single platform for collaboration, single source of truth. The management meetings don't spend first 15 minutes to discuss whose data is right. I mean, is it the production data which is right? Is it the procurement data which is right? Is it the inventory, the stores warehousing data which is right? And what is right? So it kills that. And that's how you get the efficiency out of the digitalization, right? Now, use of AI, I'm now coming to that AI piece of it. When you have to apply intelligence and go beyond your internal ecosystems through which you have digitized that data, collected the data, and then analyze it, right? The digitalization helps you in analyzing the data, collecting the data, analyzing the data, quick decision making, right? But it helps you in only supporting the decision making. AI is where it starts helping you to take a decision as well, and starts guiding you in taking decision in a particular direction, okay? Which means it goes out of your ecosystem. I mean, as you guys said from EY, that 15, 20 different, master systems are sourced, are tapped to collect that information to help you decide about it. AI use cases, vendors risk analysis, straight away. I mean, are there adverse news related to that vendor in the market? I mean, is the revenue, of this vendor from the specific product segment that I deal in, or the services segment that I deal in as an organization, is that increasing or decreasing over a period of time, right? Are the top 10 customers of this vendor, are the same? Is there a retrenchment happening on the customer base itself, right? Is the back-end supplier of my vendor facing supply constraints because of the raw material supply constraints that they may be facing at the back end? All this can be done by AI and tell you that this particular product or this particular service is at risk now, okay? Supplier concentration risk can be easily assessed by AI and guide you around it, saying that your majority of the supplies are coming in from this particular geography or this particular vendor, you should go ahead and balance it out, right? So it goes beyond the analysis. It starts telling you that these are the additional options that you have in the market. This is where they are. This is whether they supply to your competitors or not. So supplier risk evaluation, supplier selection, basic due diligence right in the beginning. Are there financial risk of getting associated with this vendor? Are there statutory non-compliance risk getting associated with this vendor? And we in our organization, of course, use a tool which gives straight away the scores on financial risk, statutory compliance risk, straight out of the system, and that gets ingested in our workflows through digitalization to tell us, are you taking decision for the right vendor or not? Or should you change the vendor? And hence, the discussion moves away from tech T1, L1, T in L1 and all that to say, am I going to inherit more risk by getting associated with this vendor? Even if the vendor is at the moment technically best and maybe lowest, right? Which is where the concept goes to total value. Are there opportunities that you are giving away by getting associated with this vendor because the vendor is L1, even if there are risks associated with that vendor, okay? The next use case of AI is drafting in the RFPs itself. There are enough RFPs that we create as sourcing functions, right? For buying products or services. right? RFP or RFQ, whatever we say. I mean, of course, they are different. So what are the right RFPs? What should be the ideal terms and conditions in those RFPs? And there are tools available in the market which do that, right? And once you get the proposals from the vendors, comparing those proposals and giving you a fairly qualitative and quantitative analysis of the comparison of the quotes. I'm giving you ground level issues that we normally face. We spend a lot of time on. AI can help you do that, right? Then, you know, when you move to the next level, you've taken a decision around it, you want to sign up a contract, AI can straight away help you draft the entire contract with the required terms and conditions. And once you've negotiated the contract, AI can also tell you that which particular contract carries what extent of risk to your business. Depending on the kind of clauses that you have signed off. You don't have a termination for convenience clause, you have a termination for cause clause, but you know, you have to, there will be a payment in lieu of termination over there. It can analyze all those things and tell, because it is intelligent enough. And then as more and more contracts you start putting into the system, it starts understanding what kind of clauses, what kind of risk are acceptable to your organization, right? And hence, where does this contract rate in terms of the risk vis-a-vis other contracts for the similar category or for the similar services, right? So these are the specific use cases. The tools are available in the market. Most of the contract management tools that you see, I mean, that have come up in the last 3-4 years, have the AI and Gen AI features, where they can do on-the-fly contract authoring for you. So you don't have to write even a single word. They will just pick up everything and write a contract for you. Okay? Then there are virtual assistant available, which can also do contract negotiation on your behalf to an extent. They can respond back on email saying that these are the clauses that I'm accepting, these are the ones that I'm not accepting, and hence, you can take it from there where they leave. Now the challenge is that moment the AI starts doing it, what is it that we are going to do? What we are going to do is what AI cannot do. And which is, see, AI is devoid of two things, right? It is not intelligent enough to sense, it does not have sensory aspect of it. It cannot sense, right? It is only analyzing, looking at the trend and trying to predict a trend, okay? It does not have EQ. There is no emotional quotient over there. There's only IQ, right? Which is where we come into the picture. And which is where, I think, in the earlier panel, somebody said, get your, psychology into it, right? This is where AI will stop. This is where the humans have to be. So we have to be ahead, and which is where I think Yogesh from EY also said that the human intelligence has to stay ahead of AI. Then only AI can be used. Otherwise, the work will stop where AI stops. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So one of the biggest challenges when we are talking about the platforms, there are different platforms talking to each other and all. And how the data interfacing is being taken, and this question I throw to Mr. Shailendra to give us a throw how the global data, because you have already worked into the Walmart channel and all, how the global data synchronization is taking place.
So basically, I'll speak complete based on my actual experience. Okay. So while we are having in the organization, we signed the contracts with the Barcode India, which comes under the Ministry of Commerce, right? So we signed up contracts for the EDI, Electronic Data Interchange. So we interfaced our systems with the supplier systems. So all the data, any product we are buying from the different supplier base, so we connected and integrated our system with them, and all the fields, of their item are automatically transferred in our system. Right, so that there is no chance of the errors, right? So first is the EDI we have implemented. It helps in our in-stock level, right, and fill rate levels, data accuracy, purchase order flows, as well as different aspects of the data to be flown to different department requirements within the organization, and as well as the supplier. Second, what we did, we signed the contract for the GDS and Global Data Synchronization Network. the data pool from the different supplier. In this platform, all across all the supplier base, all over the world are putting their item data in that particular, that global data sync organization, where we can pull the data, any data, whatever item we liked it, and pull the data that flows directly to our system. So that is also available, and it helps if we want to finalize, certain item, we want to import it. So that GDSN platform having available all the data across suppliers sitting in China or United States or any part of the world, that data is available. We can easily select the item, select the information, costing, everything is available, and then it can be part of our organization. Third is basically, the challenge what we are facing. Where we are facing the challenge within organization, our clients or our suppliers. Okay. So we put it, one platform where we put it like, B2B platform, where we put it all across all the item base, images, cost, price, as well as, all the supplier base and client. So any client, suppose we have a client Flipkart, so we are servicing them. So we have given access to our clients to create the requirement as a purchase request, PR, to within our system. We have given access to them. Our team is sitting there to helping them, right, to create the purchase request, and they are getting approval from their senior management for any kind of up to, for say 50,000 rupees of goods. So it is getting approved more than 10 lakh rupees. So further approval, 2-3 level of approvals we have defined in the system. Then it flows to our team within the organization for the purchase order creation. So that purchase order, after creation, it again flows to the 2-3 level based on the value of the purchase order with the different level of the people in the organization in supply chain team, and then they approved it, and it automatically flows to the supplier. And again we have given the access to our system to supplier. So they open it, user ID, password, and then they downloaded the purchase order, right? And then supply it to our different client sites. After, delivering it, they are getting the, GRN with the stamping and everything, which are some basic things. And then they are uploading it against the same purchase order, right? And against the same purchase order, they are uploading it with their invoice and all any other document which is required. And then further it flows to the to our different finance team for the payment. So wherever we can face the problem, we are connected those team within organization, our clients and our supplier part of the system. So the at least 75-80% of the error has gone, because any place where error comes, they are responsible it, and definitely they are learning it, and they are ensuring it will not happen again. So the happiness as well as the the data accuracy from the client side is very good. Within organization, all the department are happy because they cannot create any challenge, they cannot create any query, because they are also part of it. Any point of time they can just change it. And supplier is also always having problem. Aapka PO time pe nahi aaya, how can you are asking us to deliver it, there are errors in that. So we have made them part of the system. Then you do it, and any point of time in starting, so you just raise the question, then we will correct it immediately. So every part of the system is part of that, and then all the errors has been gone. So we are having very good fill rate, in stocks, data accuracy within our organization. It helps a lot, right? Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like to.
I'll just add to it. I'll give you some very easy use cases that you can implement in your organization right away. From tomorrow, you can probably start it. Which is in the direction towards digitalization. How many of you are aware that Amazon has got a B2B platform? Okay. How much of your MRO items are you buying through that? None. Okay, I'll tell you. Max Life Insurance has got 400 offices in India. 1.2 million square feet managed every month, right? The entire MRO buying for all 400 offices is through Amazon B2B platform. Not even single PR comes to us. The platform is implemented with nil cost. Amazon is available, you contact them, they will configure the workflow which will replicate your PR and PO system at zero cost. And you go ahead and configure the limits there. So for example, for a particular office, we have a limit, not more than 5,000 rupees worth of housekeeping consumables can be bought in a month. We have configured those limits, categorized those offices, entire empowerment given to those offices. List of items are restricted by us, that only these 70 items can be bought by you. Only these 80 stationery items can be bought. You can't buy a Parker pen because everything is available on Amazon. So the categories, the catalogs are all restricted. That is where we play a role as sourcing people, that we define the rule of the game and then you empower the users to go ahead and use it. Digitalization has to empower users. Today we are doing banking on our own. Banks have very smartly transferred the entire work that they used to do in branches onto our hands. We do our bank transfers, we make our own payments, we do everything on our own, right? But we like it because I'm empowered to do it at my will 24/7. If digitalization does not help your internal customers, it's of no use. So put your customer in the center of every project that you do in digitalization, execute that project, identify those benefits, it is bound to be successful. We have had 15,000 purchase orders released through Amazon B2B for buying MRO items. And imagine my existing vendors were not on that platform. We got our own vendors at our own prices, empaneled on Amazon B2B, restricted only to us. So I'm using only the platform to supply the items at the price that I have negotiated using Amazon, while the respective offices have got a right to create a cart, get the cart approved, right, through their office heads, through a defined workflow, and it converts into an order, gets delivered, 30 days credit from Amazon. 10 days is the return cycle. Or no record done, straight away month end, bill comes for all 400 offices, one shot paid, finished. Imagine 15,000 orders worth 2 crores only. How much ruckus it would have created in the sourcing and procurement system. And the dissatisfaction at the customer end, right? So these are the small examples over there, right? You must go and try that. That if you have MRO buying, there is a C-class buying, which takes a huge amount of effort, highly prone to leakage, highly prone to delays, highly prone to dissatisfaction because there's a huge quantum associated over there. How do you take care of that? Large value, high ticket, high complex, all of us will get into it at senior levels in any case. But how do you take care of that low value when somebody in office is waiting for the stationery or waiting for the visiting card? And empower the user to say that, okay, you go and order at your bill, even at night. Because
Okay,
it's a
Dharmender,
platform, right? So that's how it is. It's a small example that I've given there.
Okay, so we were discussing with respect to the data synchronization. I'll give you a very specific case in 2020 in the e-commerce. All of you order on the platforms, Flipkart or Amazon, and there is an order management system and there is a LMA, last mile applications. These two are different platforms. So what used to be, the moment your shipment is out for order in 2020, that gets disconnected through OMS, order management system. Now what happens, once you cancel the order, you will get the refund amount also. And the LMA, the last mile delivery boy, does not have this information at the right time, so he will deliver that item also. And this was a huge loss to the e-commerce industry. Finally, this is what? Two platforms not talking to each other at the right time. And there was lag time of only 15 minutes. And 15 minutes could give you, I cannot quote the right amount, but it was in 100 of crores, and which could be identified because there were tech development team within 10 days, they could figure out and they could control it. Okay, I'll cut short the discussions because there are a lot of experience with the panelists and there are a lot of things to discuss, and even audience are very informative. So I'll cut down, I'll just wish if you can ask any question from the panels and we'll try to answer those queries. Okay, I think there is no question. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.